Mamente one brainina danina if we say uyoja udine wonam say me shewo me dan wo won kwa na minimu me pasami hunu me pasami hunu won kwa na minimu me pasami hunu me pasami hunu mami hunu mamente one I pray you know every soul your just would
Hello, today we are here with Sarah Sansa and we are going to have a conversation about her music life, how she started and how she was able to get this far. You are welcome,
Thank
madam.
you so much, sir.
Sansa.
Yes, Sansa.
Can you mention the full name for us?
My full name is Kathryn Sansa.
Sansa. What's the meaning of Sansa?
Sansa means the third born of a family.
Okay.
Yes.
What tribe is that?
Lobi. That's
Lobi.
my dad's tribe.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's from the northern
mom.
part of Ghana.
The northern part of Ghana.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically, I think you've lived most of your life
in Sunyani.
In Sunyani.
Yes.
Okay. So your latest track,
Menhu Wo.
Menhu Wo.
Yes.
So how did you come by that title?
Okay, it's a revelation.
Okay.
When I was in third year in the university, one day I was just thinking about the greatness of God.
Okay.
I got to that point of like intimacy.
Okay.
I was just like a meditation. Okay. And I have this guitar that I play. I'm not so good at it, just like a bit of it.
Okay.
I just picked it up and then the Lord dropped the song in my spirit. It was like basically like a cry. It's like a speaking to God and it just comes out of you like that. So I was just playing and then what I was thinking became a song and it came out of me and I started singing it. So since then, like I kept on repeating the same thing, Menhu Wo, Menhu Wo.
Okay.
So that's how I titled the song, Menhu Wo.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's a single.
Yes, it's a single.
Okay. And I've also seen the video on some platforms.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So let's go back to how you came into singing.
Yeah.
You were born into a Christian family.
Yeah.
But you say you hated church.
Yes, I hated church. I didn't even like the morning devotions. It's because I think every believer has to come to the point of conviction before they can understand something fully. The reason why the atheists don't believe there's God because they don't have the conviction that it's God. They've not really met and experienced Him. So even though I was born into a family that my dad is a founder of a church, that didn't really necessarily qualify me to know God. So in the mornings, they wake us up to pray, and I didn't have a reason to do so. They asked us to compulsorily go to church during the weekdays. I didn't want to go. And on Sundays too, the same thing. And the reason was because I didn't really come to full acceptance of the God my father was pushing into us. Yes.
So you were worshiping God because your father was worshiping
Exactly.
God.
Not because I wanted to.
You were going to church because your father asked you to go to church. Okay, so at what point can you say that you came to a realization that I now know God?
Okay, so when I was in high school, my second year, last semester, last term of second year.
Which senior high school?
Sunyani Senior High School. Yes, right. I've gone to all my schools in Sunyani.
Oh, that's good. You know,
the small town.
Okay.
So it was a very hot afternoon. I started singing in school, and there was this man of God who came there one day and I ministered, and then he called me and he prayed, and the whole church prayed for me. And then he used to come to the school every Sunday, and then during the afternoons of the church, we have this small little prayer meeting, and I'd never joined before. So that day he came in and was like, okay, I want you to join this prayer meeting. And then I joined, was a group of believers, about 6 girls and like 3 guys. And him, and then myself. And so we're praying, and as we're praying, that very moment I broke into tears. Like I felt God so strongly, like by me. I could feel Him, even though I didn't see His face, but I could really feel Him. And I started crying.
And that was your first time of experiencing that?
That was my first experience. Like I've never experienced anything like that. And it didn't feel like somebody has beaten me or I'm hurt. It's like I was crying. It was very peaceful and very enjoyable. And then that's the moment I realized that God was with me. And at that moment, He revealed who I was to me. I got to see the clear picture, the view of who I am, and then what my voice, what He has given me stood for. So from then, I had that great conviction to work with God.
That means you could be a pastor, you could have a very good family, but your children may not be. Outwardly, they are going to church, but they haven't had that personal experience with God.
Yes, I would like to say something small about that. We always blame pastors, men of God, for having their kids go wayward. They are supposed to correct them. Yes, as a father or as a family, you're supposed to instruct your kids. But I believe that every parent, not even just pastors, can direct or put their kids into the right way. But the final formula of a person's character lies in their own hands. So before you choose to walk rightly, you have to decide that I walk rightly. Because if my dad is always advising me, and I go out and meet some couple of friends who distract me. Sometimes I wouldn't really care about what my dad is saying because they're my peers.
Your dad is not even in your school.
Yeah, exactly.
So how you decide to
live anyhow? So I could have decided to just live anyhow. Yes, when I was growing up, I was thinking really bad. Like I didn't really do bad things, but the things that I was thinking in my head, if I'd had opportunity, I would have really been a sport brat. So if I'd not made a decision so early in my life would have been a mess.
Wow.
Yes, so it was a decision.
So at secondary school, the first time, when you went to secondary school, I don't believe they realized that you were a good singer.
Yeah.
Though you were singing at home.
Yeah.
In your church.
It said I was making noise in the back room.
Okay. So when was the first time that you were invited or somebody realized that you could sing at school?
At school. So in second year, I went to the boarding house in second year. So I was in the room and I was ironing. And then I was singing. No, outside the dormitory. And I was singing because I always do that, like unconsciously. And then the student girls chaplain was passing by and she just stood by me. She's like, wow, you have a beautiful voice. At that time, I had not met Christ yet because I met him when I was in the last semester term. So she came to me, she's like, I have a beautiful voice, and that she wants to give me the opportunity to sing during this school church. And since I grew up, I was growing up, I am a very outspoken person. Like, I'm not really afraid of, I'm very confident.
You always speak your mind.
Yes, so I wasn't really afraid that she asked me to do it. So I just took the offer. I'm like, yes, I'm going to do it anyway. So I went there and I sang.
It was a Saturday or a Sunday?
It was a Sunday
So
morning.
that evening they wanted you to sing, or the
same
so
Sunday? I met her on the Saturday afternoon. And she told me that the next Sunday morning, they want me to do the song.
And you just accepted it?
I just accepted it.
And
I did it. It was great, but I mean, during that time, I was singing, I wasn't ministering.
Like you knew the lyrics.
Exactly, and I have my voice and, I just expressing how I sing, and that was it. It went well, but if I talk about it now, I would say that I wasn't ministering. So that was my very first time. I mean, I've sang at age 7 in church. Yes, so that was like my very first time singing in front of a congregation. People.
What goes into ministry that makes it different from singing?
Okay, so I don't know how to define ministry, but when you're doing singing in the spirit, it's a relationship you have with God. So for you to really minister, you should have that kind of touch of the presence of God in your voice. I always tell my friends that there's tears in my voice. So the tears means that anytime I'm singing, I think about the goodness of God. I think about the greatness of God. So the moment I think about, I'm able to think about it because I have that kind of cordial relationship with Him. And that kind of give me that connection, and it draws the Spirit to me. So the song comes out of me, but it's not from me, but it's from God.
Okay.
So that is the ministration. And in that way, it touches the hearts of people. Okay. And that is what draws them to God. But if you're singing, they just hear, they are relaxed and they hear the song. It's entertaining, but there's no impact.
Wow.
Yes.
We are here with Sansa Sarah.
Yes.
And we are talking about her life, her ministry as an artist. Let's go for a very short break. We'll be back soon. We are still here with Sarah Sansa, and we are still discussing about her ministry, her music life, how she started, and we've learned how she ministered for the first time. So, Sansa, from secondary school, I believe that was where you had the foundation.
Yep.
After ministering and having that impact on people.
Yeah.
From secondary school, from that higher stage, the first time you ministered before a whole congregation that you felt the presence of God, what was your next platform, bigger platform that you had the opportunity and you also felt that touch again?
The touch of God. Okay, so after that moment, I became the president for Mass Choir when I got to third year. And then one day, that was after my conviction, one of the guys in Sunyani, he's called Yofi. He has been coming to Obuasi sometimes. And then he came and he was invited by my assistant. So he was coming to teach the choir some basic knowledge about music. And then I was supposed to lead a song. So I led the song. Right after the song, he called me outside after the whole thing. He's like, I love your voice. He didn't even say it really like that, but he told me that there are like programs that they have in Sunyani. I'd never come out like that in Sunyani. It was just like in the school. He was like, okay, when you come back home, I want to introduce you to a group. So we were on vacations, I came home, and then I started backing great ministers of God. And then sometimes when they come out of town, when they come to Sunyani organize programs, I'm part of the BVs. And then also sometimes he gives me the opportunity to lead some songs.
What other ministers have you backed?
You know, there's a man by name Kwame Jedu. There's a man by name Brother Sharif. There are other names that I can't remember because it's a long time ago. And then after that moment, I also joined a group, and then they also organized a program. So that was how it started. But the program, coming to your question, there was this program that was organized by Francis Samuel. And then I was put on bail. And that whole week, I was really sick. I had malaria. I was down in malaria. And the program was just in 2 days' time. It was a Sunday. On Saturday, I was so sick. And I was afraid that I couldn't go for the program. I didn't want to disappoint them. So on the Sunday morning, on the Saturday evening, I just prayed to God that if indeed He really wanted me to attend this program, then He should heal me. I woke up in the morning. I was still not well. I forced to go to church. Right after I was back from church, miraculously, that whatever it was, it just vanished. And that night at the program, that was when I felt the strong hand of God upon me. And I sometimes when minister people tell you that, wow, you did great. But there's sometimes you do it and you know that God was there yourself. And that was the moment I realized that God's hands was really upon me. And that was in, I don't remember the year. It was an amazing moment in the presence of God.
That's impressive. So after getting that touch in school, how did it influence your ministry at home? Usually you go on vacation and now you get to the house and you feel like how I'm doing in school, if I could get opportunities to also do the same thing at home. How did the ministry at senior high school what you were doing, influence what you used to do at the house?
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a very good question. So my dad began seeing some changes in me.
Okay.
Yeah, and one day he was invited. He comes to this Shiloh temple here in Obuasi.
Yeah.
And he was invited and he said, oh, I want to go with you. My dad himself didn't really know that I was that much of a singer. He didn't know. So he came with me and then I ministered before he came. And then that day, as I was ministering, he was just crying. And then I got back in the car and he was like, I never knew that you could really minister. Like, he was so proud of me.
So how did you convince him to let you minister before he came on? So, because if he has not seen you or he didn't know that you were so
into
much
it.
better.
Exactly.
What did you do to convince him?
I didn't convince him. You know, my dad is a man that accepts us for who we are.
Okay.
Like, he tries, but he doesn't force you to, even though he wants you to be changed.
Okay.
I'm still his daughter anyway, so he still loves me.
Okay.
And he knows that I sing. But he didn't really know that I could really connect to the spirit like that. So taking me along was like he's just trying to prepare me for the future. But he didn't know that I was going to really move into it. So I did it and he was really shocked. And we sat in the car and he was just talking about it throughout the journey back to Sinyane. He was so proud of me.
And it was a turning point.
Yes, that was a turning point.
Okay, so he was now engaging you in his administrations. Anyway, he went, he took you along.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So let's fast forward to after senior high school.
Yeah.
Now you are in the house, or probably you are preparing for the university. What were some of the things that you did that made you better? Because after school, you no more have the platform to always be singing.
Yeah.
And though you say you had joined some administration groups, but what did you do? How did you get better?
You
know, we want other artists to learn from your experience, how you have gotten to today. So what made you better?
So I'll just be brief on this. Right after high school, I wanted to go and study law. Even though I studied science in school. That was really something I was looking up to. So my physics teacher was a very good friend of mine. He bought forms from Tech for me to go. And then unfortunately for me, I didn't get that offer. And then I was supposed to resort to my university, University of Energy and Natural Resources. And I was going to study natural resource management. Going to study that course was not really my thing. I wasn't happy about it. Then I got to the first year in school. It was a struggle getting to school. And then I told myself that I don't want to go to school anymore. I don't like the course. And my parents are like, no way. You must finish the school. We struggled to get you in there. No, we can't let you stop. But I want to stop. I was during a moment of confusion for me. I wanted to now change and go and do journalism. My parents were not accepting. So I could lock myself in a room crying all the time, asking God, what does he really want me to become? I was very confused. And then one day it was an online service. And then I didn't want to go. And my dad was like, this time around, I want you to be there. And I went there, and around 12 a.m., getting to the next day, Saturday, he called all of us. We prayed for like hours, and he called all of us to the platform and asked us to pray and blessings upon our lives. Just declare good things for us. And I began speaking out of my heart. Like, it was, I feel like what I'm saying is going to happen. And I did so. And early in the morning on Sunday, the prayer I prayed came to pass.
Wow.
I wanted to use my voice as a tool. That was after my encounter, as to bring people and draw people close to God. So through my songs, through the word of God. And I was telling God that I need somebody to help me get there. So this woman in my church who has been following me, that's another story, for some time, that I was always leading the choir. I'm a worship leader, and she's fallen in love with my voice and what I do. Called my dad on a Sunday and was like, I want to support this young lady whatever way that she wants to go. And it was a miracle, just an answer to my prayer. So from there, I put the song that I got when I was in high school together. The title is I Need You. And then she was like, I'm going to help you do a program, do a launching of it. It was a single. And then we were able to put some people together. And that was my very first time launching a song or bringing my first single. And that day I was very naive, I didn't know so many things, but I did it. And since that day, I met a couple of people, Yofi, the life of Franklin, who started ushering me. Then from that moment, I wasn't doing that program to be I was very naive. I didn't know a lot of things. Because people do it so that they can be seen by others, so they can invite them for their programs. I didn't have that in mind. I just felt like I have a song for the world. Somebody has given me money to produce it. So now I want to give it out to the world, that's all. But I after that program, there were so many invitations from everywhere. I was like having programs almost every week. It was very stressful for my young mind. But during that process, I started learning, started growing, because God started teaching me. I started praying, working with God, and then I made some mistakes, then I rise up again. So that was how the growth period
process was.
Yes, began.
So which particular musicians could you say really helped in your development?
From the start. This question I always struggle to answer it, because mentioning names, for music, I wasn't really looking deep into music. There was this woman I'm so much in love with. I'm obsessed with. She's called Kathryn Kuhlman. I started reading about her when I was in high school. After my conviction, my spiritual my spiritual dad gave me that book. So she was the one I was following closely. For music, there wasn't really a particular person I was following, but I was following everybody. Like I listen to all songs. I listen to anybody that I hear a song and I'm touched by it, I listen to it. But Kathryn was the woman I was following closely. But now I have people that I follow in music. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was your first, you said your first track, your first song was
I Need You.
I Need You.
Yeah.
And then what was your second?
The second one was called, it's called Hang In There.
Hang In There.
Yes, that was in 2016. There are no videos for the two songs. Yes.
And then?
And then the third one, which is my maiden. Sorry, it's like a new track, Menhu Wo.
So this is the first time you have done
shooting a music
video shoot for it. Okay. That's impressive.
Yeah.
So that woman who supported your first track, is she still supporting you?
Okay, that's a tough question. Okay, not really.
Okay.
I think.
No, the reason why I asked is I wanted to know how you were able to
survive,
fund your even your current one, because when it comes to music video and the rest, it becomes a headache for some artists. Even coming out with a song, mastering the song is something else. So coming out with a video is also something. So I wanted to know, how do you finance your ministry?
God is a faithful God. The moment you commit yourself to Him, He just does things in strange ways. Sometimes you don't even know where it's coming from, but it just happens. I talk to my friends, they're like, how do you do this? I'm like, it's just grace. And grace, my sister have this quote that grace has got nothing to do with what you have in your pocket. You just think it and then it happens. So I get help from support from people, from friends and family. People who believe in my ministry, and family members who are so much in love with what I'm doing. And so sometimes I present to them, this is what I want to do, and then it all comes together and it supports, and then we do it together. So that's the movement.
All right, so that's how you're able to finance your ministry.
Exactly.
Because financing is very key in this work. You might have the passion, you might have the voice, you might have the anointing, but without the finance to take you through, it will be very difficult for you.
That's true.
Okay. So, where do you see yourself, Sarah Sansa, in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years? I want to be a revivalist. It's just something that just occurred to me. I've never even thought about it. I want to be a part of the people that will be on the chain of raising up people, men and women for God. I think we're in an era where there's a lot of confusion, especially among the young people, the youth. So many things are happening, and then we feel like it's okay, it's normal, and we are throwing away the primitive or the ancient way of serving the Lord. We are in a modern world, and we have to change things. But the ancient God is still the same. He never changes, so we can't change the word of God. We can't change it to make it suit us. I want to be a part of the team. To raise up people that will have that understanding of who God is, to walk with Him, because that's exactly what God wants for us. So in the next 5 years, I should be on top. I should be on platforms that many people would hear my voice and they can be drawn to God. Yes.
So you have been moving around the country, ministry. I have heard countless times how sometimes event organizers take advantage of artists when they are invited, forgetting that they also have some expenses to take care of Have you experienced such an instance?
Of course.
In your ministry?
A lot of times.
Okay.
A lot of times.
And does it affect your ministration?
It doesn't at all.
Okay.
I believe that God, that's the hard truth. Okay. God will take care of us. Okay. I think everything is a process. You just start from somewhere and you gradually move somewhere. Okay. Sometimes people don't, Pastor Zaya said something to me, and it's like, when you go for a program and people are giving you, the organizers are giving you a seed or an honorarium, they are not paying you for it, but they are giving it to you as a they're also receiving blessings out of it. Okay. They are sowing, so the money they're giving to you is a seed.
They are sowing into your ministry.
Sowing into your ministry. Okay. At the end of the day, they are receiving blessings out of it. So they're drawing, they're actually placing value on what you did, on the power of the hand of God upon your life. But when they don't do it, it doesn't have to change you, change your perspective or change you from doing what you're supposed to do in Christ. And I know that with time, to get to a point that you don't have to struggle for money, it will come itself.
Do you think it's prudent for a gospel artist to charge an event organizer for an event he or she is attending?
That's been a tough question. I won't speak for everybody. Okay. For my part, I wouldn't do it. Okay. I wouldn't charge, because when I'm doing it for God, even though I need money, because we need money. Music is very expensive, especially with this, my new song. I realized that it's so expensive. Okay. My 2 songs were like, I didn't really do so much work in it, so it's like, what's normal? It's expensive, we need money for it. But money shouldn't be our focus. Okay. It should be Christ. So for me, going for a program and charging you to give me this sort of money, I wouldn't do it. Even if I have a management, I'm going to have that we're going to have a way to go handle it. Okay. But not to ask you to give me money, because doing that, I'm asking you to pay me for what I didn't buy, because God gave it to me.
For the gift that God has given to me.
I wouldn't do that personally, but I mean, other artists have their own reasons why they do it, and people do things based on their own convictions. But I'm not convicted to ask for money for administration.
What has been your greatest performance so far? Maybe if you sit down and look at your ministry, did you ever minister at an event that you finished and said, no, this has been my best out of them all?
Okay, so yes, it's been a lot of them. Okay. And sometimes I finish, I'm marveled. Okay. But there's one that happened in a strange way in Austria at my uncle's church. Okay. I didn't know I was going to minister, and then he was like, "This Sunday I want to do it." I think it was even a Sunday morning. I wanted to do this, and I just went there. I don't know what happened to me, because I always, when I'm going to minister, the Lord drops songs in my spirit that I do. And there was no song dropped in my spirit. It was very confusing. But I took the microphone.
Was it a new song?
It wasn't a new song. I took the microphone and the Lord dropped this song into my heart. Fill my cup. Fill my cup, Lord. And I was singing the song, and it was, I don't know, I just lost control. I just lost control of myself. And a church that has been dying, mostly in a foreign land, when you want to raise up a church among black people, it's very difficult, because everybody have come from their countries, and they feel like they are bosses from their own homes. So trying to tame them is very tough. Difficult. And my uncle was having very great challenges with the church, and so it's been very down. But when I was ministering that song, because the song was coming out of the spirit, I could see that stir in the atmosphere, and the people that are always like the chilly people were now open and broken. Wow. I could see that, because it's not just because of what I felt, but because a dying church was risen up. I see that to be the greatest ministration ever.
Wow. Yes. Wow. Okay, so what do you currently do apart from music?
Okay, it's been tough making a decision in my next career, because I was working for an international organization. This is my last year. I'm actually dropping off. I was working on a board. It's called the International Forestry Students Association, and I was the only black person on the 7-member board, and I worked with them for a year, and I worked again on the board for another year, 2 years, and I became now the regional representative for Northern Africa. So I had opportunities to work in Kenya, to work in South Africa, and even here in Ghana. But I was just talking to God. After I met God, I told him to just direct my life. So then I was just asking God what he wants me to do in my next phase. And I was struggling making a decision in accepting these offers. Because anytime I want to take a move, I want to know that, is it purpose? And am I going to be fulfilled doing it? I think about this thing, I'm like, no way. If I go to Kenya and I receive all those sums of money, I'll never be happy. Because that is not really what my heart is crying for. And I knew that God is calling me to do ministry. But I was struggling to do it because I felt like this other side was more promising. So I had to struggle to make a decision. I made this decision over like some months ago. And that's when I felt the hand of God so strong that this is what I'm telling you to do, not that. So now I work with my church as I'm an administrative assistant. I'm under the secretarial, missionary, and then the church planting division. And it's a fulfilling job that I'm having right now because that is what God has called me into.
And that is what you intend to do in the long term?
Yes, in the long term.
Including your music?
Including my music. Yes.
Currently,
yeah,
who inspires you a lot?
Oh, wow. I still love my Kathryn Kuhlman.
Oh,
yeah, and then Pastor Zaya is like a father, a big brother. Pastor's dad is a very good friend to my father, and that's how come I met Pastor Zaya Jr. And this man has been a blessing. He's been a blessing, and he's coaching me, taking me through the journey. There's a man of God called Minister Charles. He's been a blessing too. He picked me up when I was in the university. And my dad has been like a great backbone. And Yofi, the man who actually nurtured me after meeting me in high school and taking me through the process. So these great men have been very promising in my life, and wherever they are, I just want to thank them so much. Whenever I talk about them, I'm very emotional because without them, I don't know what I would have been. So God richly bless them so much.
What is the greatest challenge of your ministry?
How do I answer this question? Greatest challenge, my greatest fear, I'll say fear, is to minister without the presence of God. I see ministration to be really big, and holding a microphone I see it to be, I don't know which word to use, but it's not normal, you know. So going for programs, if you invite me for your program, you've given me a duty to perform because I know that I'm not coming to just sing songs to people to entertain them, to minister. So my greatest challenge, I would call that fear, is to minister without the presence of God. So if I go for a program and I minister and I know God wasn't there, I come back home crying because I feel like I've wasted the time, I've wasted opportunity, I've wasted people's time. That's the only thing I can say.
And what do you think is the greatest secret to a great ministration?
The relationship we have with God.
It's not about the prayer you had before you went?
No, it is a walk. It's a walk. Some people just want to wait until the program's time is due and then they go to God. It's just like you have a friend and then you only go to your friend because you need something. How would you feel? You know, God is a person and he wants to have that kind of devotion and relationship with us. It's the walk we have with him. And you know, my dad always uses this statement that people are craving for the hand of God, but not God himself. So we always need money, we need things, we need cars, we need whatever. But to walk with him is a problem. That's how come a lot of prayer comes. People just go there just because they want something from him. But God needs that relationship. For you to become a really impactful minister of God, man of God, woman of God, you need to have that daily relationship. So that when the work is there, just like you're putting water in a tank, it becomes full. So you do that a work, and even when it's full, it has to overflow. So the blessing, because you never stop working with God. Because the more you know God, the more you don't know him well.
All right. So do you wish to have a collaboration with any music ministers?
Of course.
Which one?
We and Anna. Pastor Zaya is one. Minister Onassis from Sinyani. Joe Metal, yeah. I love what's her name again? Niela. I love her voice so much. Maybe one day. And Tasha Cobbs. For her, I have to do that real soon. I'm in love with her ministry. I love her voice. She has an amazing voice.
So give us a shortcut.
Oh man, my voice is almost gone.
You know you ministered yesterday.
Yeah, my voice is almost gone.
Just give us something short. 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
What song do I want to do?
No, maybe your latest one.
My latest song, okay.
Yes.
So it goes like this. Wonkwana minimuo, me pese mi hunuo, me pese mi hunuo. Wonkwana minimuo, me pese mi hunuo, me pese mi hunuo. I'll end it there because my voice is...
Yeah, but it's still nice. It's still nice. And thank you very much, Sansa, for being on the show today.
I'm very honored and grateful.
We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. danwo wonkwa na minimuo me pesemi hunuo me pesemi hunuo wonkwa na minimuo me pesemi hunuo me pesemi hunuo mami hunuo mamente wone I pray nina every soul your just wushini wo honam se me she shawo erate